What's going on? This is 8 Bars with 8barsbeats.com, and you're checking out a new episode of the Smart Music Hustle. And for today's episode, we're going to talk about PROs, or performance rights organizations. We're going to talk about who they are, what they do, and even more. Let's get into it. Now, if you watch my videos on copyright, you should have a pretty good idea of what copyright is, how to own your copyright, and why it's even important to own your copyright: money. And so the next step for songwriters and musicians is to figure out how to actually collect royalties once you put your song out there. So one of the most straightforward and easy to understand ways to make money off of your music is by selling it. So you can either sell your music digitally in places like iTunes, or if you're old school, you do still have the option to print up your music on a CD and sell it, whether it be at one of your shows, on your website, or if you're really old school, you can just sell it out the back of your trunk. Now, another way that you can actually make money off of your music is by collecting royalties for public performances of your songs. Now, public performance basically boils down to anytime your music is played to facilitate some kind of a business in the public. So whether your song is getting played on the radio or on an interactive streaming service like Spotify, a non-interactive streaming service like Pandora, or at a place like a bar, a nightclub, any company that uses music in order to facilitate their business, whether it's the business experience or if just playing the music is their business, they have to pay a licensing fee in order to do that. And the money that's collected in those licensing fees ultimately gets distributed down to songwriters. And so this is where PROs come into play. Because being a songwriter is such a hard job in and of itself, after a while it can get really difficult trying to keep track of every nightclub, every radio station, and how many times they played your song, every time an individual streams one of your songs on Spotify, and so on and so forth. So PROs are there to actually collect the licensing fees and keep track of every time that your song gets played so that they can distribute song royalties to you from your song plays. Now, if you're a songwriter in the US, you can actually affiliate with one of 3 different PROs. The 2 more common of the PROs are actually BMI and ASCAP. And then the third one is SESAC, but we'll get into that one a little bit later. Now, signing up with one of the 3 PROs is actually pretty easy, but as they say, the devil's in the details. So I'm gonna go into a little bit more depth into how to actually sign up with the 3 of the PROs. And I'm also gonna break down some of the basic ways that the 3 of them work, because unfortunately, there are some details about the way that they work that are different. And as you get into the industry and you start doing more songs and you start working with more musicians and more artists and songwriters, it can start to get a little confusing, especially when it comes to working out the splits and submitting the splits to your PRO. So let's start with ASCAP. ASCAP is one of the PROs that you can sign up with. And as a matter of fact, that's the PRO that I chose to sign up with. Now, in order to sign up with ASCAP, there is a one-time application fee of $50 for signing up as a songwriter, and there's also a one-time $50 application fee for signing up as a publisher. Now, the reason that I bring up both the publisher and the songwriter fees is because in order to collect all of your performance royalties with ASCAP, you have to sign up as both a songwriter and as a publisher. And the reason for this is simply because that's the way that ASCAP pays out their publishing royalties. So in order to collect all of the royalties that are coming in for your song, you have to sign up as a writer and you have to register with ASCAP as a publisher. Now, BMI is the other PRO that you can sign up with, and they're also pretty straightforward, but they actually work things out a little bit differently. So if you want to sign up with BMI as a songwriter, you can actually do that for free. Now, if you want to sign up with BMI as a publisher and register with them as a publisher, there is a one-time fee of $150. And now this is actually one of the ways that BMI is different from ASCAP, because in order to collect all of the royalties that are coming in from your song, you don't need to sign up as a publisher. And of course, this is a decision that you're gonna have to make for yourself and your career as you go forward. But it's probably a pretty good idea to establish your own business as a publishing company and then sign up with BMI if that's who you choose to work with. And then there is a third PRO, which is SESAC, but we're not really gonna go into any details with them because SESAC is actually invite only. So you have to get to a certain point in your career and they have to invite you to come and join with them. So whether you sign up with ASCAP or BMI, one of the things that you're going to want to keep in mind, especially as you work with more songwriters and as you work with more producers, is that ASCAP and BMI actually work out their song splits differently. So for example, ASCAP works out all of their song splits on a 100% scale. And so what that means is all of the splits for a song have to add up to 100%. So simply put, if you're a songwriter and you work with a producer, then you as a songwriter would have to have 25% of the song as a songwriter and 25% of the song as a publisher. So that adds up to your 50% of the song. And then if you're the producer, then you would have to have 25% of the song as a composer and then 25% of the song as a publisher. Whereas BMI actually works out all of their song splits on a 200% scale. Meaning that if you're a songwriter who works with a producer and you're signed with BMI, then 50% of the song would have to be yours as the writer, and then 50% of the song would have to be yours as the publisher. And then for the producer, you would have to credit the producer with 50% of the song being theirs as the composer, and then 50% of the song being theirs as the publisher. So that way everything adds up to 200%. Now, if that sounds confusing, I know it does. It's not my fault. I didn't make up the rules. I'm just a messenger. Please don't kill me. Now, once you've decided to sign up with either ASCAP or BMI, you're going to be assigned a number called an IPI number. And basically, IPI number stands for Interested Parties Information. And your IPI number is basically just what's going to help your PRO connect your songs to you so that your royalties can be collected and sent directly to the right person. And the last thing to know is that when you register your songs with your PRO, they're going to give your song something called an ISWC, which stands for International Standard Work Code, which is basically an identifier that allows the PROs to be able to track your songs and collect the royalties so that they can get the royalties to you. And that's pretty much it for PROs. It's pretty straightforward. And signing up with a PRO is a very important thing for you to do as a songwriter and as a composer in your career in order for you to be able to collect your performance royalties. Now, the next episode, things are gonna get a little bit more interesting and the plot's gonna thicken because I'm gonna dive more into the different types of royalties that you can actually collect and all of the different licenses that you can collect for your music as well. All right, guys, so thanks again for watching. I really do appreciate it. If any of the information in this video helped you out, please like, please subscribe if you haven't already. Also, go ahead and hit the notification bell so you guys can get an alert for the next time I drop a video. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and drop them in the comment section. And for those of you out there who are songwriters or music producers who go into sessions and don't have access to a split sheet, go ahead and look down in the description. I actually have a free download link to my personal split sheet that I've been using for years that's been working for me. And until next time, thanks again for watching.